Disgraced ex-congressman George Santos has been sentenced to more than 7 years in prison for fraud and identity theft. Santos arrived in a New York federal court earlier today, telling the judge he regrets defrauding voters. Now he's looking at 87 months in prison. ABC's Phil Lipof and ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmire are here with more on that. So, Phil, what's the latest?
Well, at 87 months, Diane, they say hindsight is 20/20. George Santos is now going to have a good deal of time to reflect on his behavior that led to the charges, that led to the conviction, and his behavior through the sentencing phase, which prosecutors said was the reason they were asking for the max. He eventually said, you know, I regret what I did, but in that same breath went after the Department of Justice, saying, yeah, but they want to land an anvil on my head rather than giving me the sentence that other people in my situation have gotten. Well, the judge weighed all of that, could have done the mandatory minimum of 2 years, which is what Santos and his attorneys were asking for. Prosecutors asking for those 87 months. Judge gave him every bit of those 87 months and then 2 years of supervised probation after.
And Brian, what do you make of this sentencing given Santos pled guilty? Are you surprised?
I mean, to Phil's point, I'm not really surprised. I think the government said in their sentencing arguments that he was unrepentant in his actions, in part because of his insatiable appetite for likes on social media. He did himself no favors from August when he took that plea till today, going on social media and talking about selective prosecution, how the government's out to get him. And within the sentencing guidelines, Santos could have faced anywhere from 75 to 87 months. And the reason why he got the very top of that guideline is because of what he said himself throughout this case. So not surprised at all. I think for whatever reason he thought the way he was conducting himself would have helped, but no, it didn't.
And Phil, Santos spoke in court today expressing regret. Did that seem to have any impact here?
Well, apparently not, because I think at this point, you're right before sentencing. Brian's a defense attorney. I'm sure he's had more than one conversation with a client about showing remorse, expressing remorse. He said in court today, Santos did, "My conduct betrayed my supporters and the institutions I swore to uphold." He was teary-eyed. I mean, but this is at the point where you are about to be sentenced. Just within the last couple of weeks, he was attacking the Department of Justice. You know, this was a witch hunt and things of that nature. So, yeah, he didn't show much remorse, and they hit him with every bit of 87 months today.
Brian, does he have any grounds for appeal?
Sure, but that ground is shaky at best. He was given a sentence within the guidelines of 75 to 87 months. And just to go back to what he said about the DOJ is not treating him like everyone else. Yes, he was treated like everyone else. And to Phil's point also about what I tell my clients, one thing I would have told George Santos if he was my client, shut up. Don't open your mouth. Stop talking, because it's his own words that got him into this trouble. And I've had clients do that as well. They badmouth the government in a way that they can use against them. And George Santos thought of himself as a different politician, I guess, someone who can badmouth the DOJ and the prosecutorial system and somehow get away with it. And now he's learning he's just like the rest of us. And when you do that, you get these types of prizes. You get the highest sentence within your guideline. And if he does appeal, like I said, I don't see a ground that he can win, but it's his right to do so.
All right, Phil Lipof, Brian Buckmire, thank you both.